Hi everyone, welcome to the Draw With Pixar series. My name is Ben Su. I've been an animator at Pixar for the past 10 years. Some of the movies I've worked on include Finding Dory, Incredibles 2, and Toy Story 3 and 4, and our latest movie, Onward. Today, we're going to be drawing this little guy, Wall-E.
So I always like to start my drawing by finding the biggest shapes first. In this case, it would be Wall-E's body, which is basically a square. I'm also drawing a little guideline in the middle of the body, which helps me find where his neck should be placed. Wall-E's eyes are basically half circles that are slightly tilted. You notice all my lines are very light. It's because if you put down dark lines right away and you make a mistake, it's harder to erase. And also, it's nearly impossible for your first few lines to be perfect. So I like to draw lightly first until I'm confident my lines and shapes are correct, and I'll go in and start making my lines darker. So I've added two eyes, and then I'm adding another circle inside for the iris. I'm shading it in, just leaving a little highlight in there. Round off the eyes a little bit more. Yeah, like I said earlier, it's hard to, like a circle, for example, it's hard to make a perfect circle on your first try, so you lightly do it, and then once you're confident with your line, you can go in and make it a little bit darker. So I'm going to add another, let me just darken up the eyes a little bit. I want to add another line just inside the eyes, which will give it a little bit more depth. So basically you're just going around the eyes one more time. And I do it from the other side. For his neck, we're going to split it into 4 pieces. It may seem a little complicated, but they're actually just simple rectangular shapes. And they're just piled on top of each other. So he's also got these little wires that connects from his neck to his eyes. So I'm just going to add those in. So for the body, we're going to add a line just above the halfway point. And then we're going to add a little line on top, which gives him like the top piece of his body. So he's got a little plate chest on that's divided in the center. Let's see, the left side, I'm going to add some buttons. You can add as many as you like. I'm going to do 3 rows of 3s, I think. And on the right side, I'm going to do a few rectangular strips of these little light bars that Wall-E has. I'm just tightening up Wall-E's body here. Let's see. Let's make those lines around the corners a little darker. Get that square looking like a square. Let's write his name here, just on the right side of this cube. Doing it really lightly to make sure all the words fit in first before we darken it. He also has these 3 little indentions across his body. Just want to make sure they're all the same height here. sketching his feet now. Basically, they're these little wheel motors. They're rectangular shapes that are white, that whitens at the bottom. Notice I sketched a quick line across the bottoms just to make sure that the feet motors are on both sides line up, so it feels like it's on the ground. He also has these two pieces that connect to the bottom. I'm just going to sketch that in there and shade it in just to make it look like it's under his body in the shadow. I'm going to add some threads to the wheel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide each wheel into 3 lines, and I'm adding these lines across where each intersect. They're going to have a little gap. And you can darken the top of the gap a little bit. Just creating these, darkening up the little threads on this side here. And same thing on the other side. 3 lines down and then lines across, adding these little gaps in between each intersection. I'm going to add the outline, creating these little divots around the wheel. Okay, so the wheel's about finished. For the hand, his hand is basically a rectangle with 2 more rectangles that taper down for the fingers. He's got another little joint underneath. And the other hand, I'm going to have him wave. So let's add another rectangle on top, followed by 2 cylinders, which I will attach to his body. Let's see. Maybe you can do a little Spock peace sign, well, with his wave. So his fingers are basically just 2 squares for each joint. And they tapered in a little bit towards the tip of the finger. And then same thing with the thumb, 2 squares for the joints. Yeah, so I think we've got all the shapes in here for Wall-E now. I'm going to start doing a little shading for him. The best way to learn shading is to find find simple objects around the house and put it next to a lamp and see how the shadow looks at different angles. So you want to look for simple shapes like rectangles, cylinders, and something circular. Maybe I would recommend maybe a baseball, a white paper cup, something with light color so you can see the shadows better. Because that's basically what Wall-E is. He's just a square full of cylinders and rectangles. And I think that's the best way to learn, is just to look at things in your hands, and then through observation you can learn to draw. So Wall-E's, he's an older robot. I'm just adding these little dents and scratches on him. Just shading the tires a little bit here. over the lines just a little bit more. Just to make sure. Anytime you darken the line, it makes the object stand out a little bit more. Yeah, again, take your time with the drawings. There's no hurry. Let's add a little, let's add his little cockroach friend there. Yeah. I think we're done. Almost. Just add a little shadow here. There we go. Yeah. Don't forget to sign your name. And hope you had fun.
Thanks for drawing with me. I hope you guys had a good time and learned a few things along the way. Feel free to share your drawings and use the hashtag Draw With Pixar. And keep safe, everyone, and see you next time.